All right, we're back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Talking politics this morning, just going from one convention to the other. Your take, the number 737-7587 if you want to jump in. And Professor John Viles with us from over at MTSU. Good to have you on, sir.
Good to be here.
Let's go to Joe. He waited through the break. Joe, good morning.
Morning, Nick.
Hey, Joe.
I agree with your guest. The vice presidential candidates would must be preferred over what we got running for president on either side. But that being said, the people in America need to wake up and understand that we'll vote for somebody to lead this country with foreign affairs and their future in their hands here for the next 4 years. And they say these conventions look like a bunch of high school kids having a party. I mean, you got educated people jumping up and down and with balloons and stuff like that, acting like they're crazy. And I'm offended that the politicians can lie to you and then get caught in a lie, and then expect you to be so stupid that you don't understand that they just lied to you about something. So, this whole thing to me has become a joke.
It is amazing, man. Joe, thank you for that. First, I wonder what, folks overseas, what the foreign countries think as they watch what really is a circus on both sides. And two, I do wonder, Professor, about the lies. I mean, a lot of the media now has fact check for both candidates. And it really does seem to me that you will hear candidates throw things out there that are not just exaggerations, but flat lies. They don't know what they're talking about. They're throwing them out. And it doesn't seem like the voters who happen to support an individual give a hoot. It's like, oh, whatever. They're going to make excuses for it.
Truthiness rather than truth.
Yeah, just make flat lies out, and their constituents don't care.
Well, the old saw is, do you know how to tell a politician is lying? And the answer is yes, their lips are moving.
It's worse now than ever before. It used to be maybe you'd call them on the carpet and they'd be embarrassed that they got it wrong. But I mean, you hear stuff now, and there's just no disputing about their constituents. So, oh no, wait, what facts do you have there? That can't be right. I mean, these candidates are throwing stuff out half the time that I think they just made up on the spot, and I guess there's no accountability.
Well, I mean, there is, but it seems to come very slowly. If I can go to Joe's first comments, there's sort of a mixed legacy. We do have, I think, a little bit more sportsmanship in our politics. The political convention, and they, of course, followed on the torchlight parades. And a good bit of American politics is spectacle. And part of that is, that comes with democracy. One hopes that the enthusiasm, I did sense, correctly or not, that during the Republican convention, the delegates left more enthusiastic than when they entered. And part of that, I think, are these aspects of the convention that otherwise seem like a circus.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did. It'll be interesting to see if the same thing happens with the Democrats. Yeah. Let's go to Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Hi. Yes, I watched last week, and I was very impressed with Donald Trump and with all of his people. And as far as, when I see Hillary, I can't blame the people for marching because she not only lied to Bernie like she was going to take him in for VP, she didn't. So now these people, you got 50,000 plus a day marching and said they will not vote for Hillary. A lot of them said they will go to Trump. I don't blame them. You see, I started out here making alternators when I was young. They took that away. They didn't let us build them anymore. I also made Texas boots. That broke my heart. They took both plants away. A Texas boot comes from America, not from overseas. And then the shoes don't fit right. So anyway, as far as jobs and economy, I believe in Donald Trump because we put up with the Democrats for so long that we're sick and tired of it. My friends work in a cheese factory. All of them lost their jobs at the steel mills in Ohio.
All right. You know, she touches on a lot of points, but I really want to get into this. A lot of times they say when it comes down to elections, Americans, especially if there's an incumbent involved and they can look at it, which isn't the case here, their pocketbook. Voting their pocketbook. I'm looking at an article here in USA Today Money talking about how stocks could predict who wins the White House and people's money. And the economy, do we have a sense, and she talked about what she felt, you know, hurts the economy, where this might help or hurt either of these candidates?
It's sort of a mixed bag. Unemployment has gone steadily down in the last year or two. But what I'm sensing and what I think Trump has picked up on is that you have a lot of people that used to work one job, you know, at 40 hours a week or more, are now working two jobs, neither of which have health care coverage or neither of which have, you know, child care benefits and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of underemployment. And I think there's far greater insecurity in the workforce than before. And part of that does come from the fact that, you know, competition, whether foreign or domestic, often leads one firm to end up dominating and another to end up firing workers. So I think it is a time of great financial insecurity. And of course, Trump also tried to play on the insecurity that you see in terms of terrorism. That's a little bit, you know, there, of course, Hillary has more experience in foreign policy than he does, but whether she did a good job or not, of course, is certainly subject to debate.
I'm just looking at this. It's interesting. It says that the Standard & Poor's 500 stock index, how it performs in the 3 months prior to a November presidential election often determines who wins. It says the stocks have correctly predicted the winner of 19 of the past 22 presidential elections since 1928. You know, whether they're up or down depending on the candidate for the party of the president who's sitting at the moment is up, then maybe it helps, and vice versa the other way if it's down. I don't know. You know, you can find all kinds of things like that.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know the degree to which the stock market any longer predicts the average worker. You know,
that's true.
It predicts the white collar who, you know, has a lot of 401k type investments. We got a lot of people out there that, you know, if they get a $300 bill, it can pretty much wipe them out. And so I don't know that they're that interested in the stock market, although unemployment,
that's true.
You know, those kind of factors can be very important.
Yeah. All right, let's go next to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Texas Boots Cheesecake in Ohio.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about.
Oh, no, we're Texas Boots Cheesecake in Ohio.
Yeah.
No, what?
Yeah, okay.
What was that? Maybe I'm getting old or something. I don't know. But let's see. I'll try to focus.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. How come this professor from MTSU can seem to be so nonpartisan, but the associate professor, his buddy, when he ever gets on there, he's like a walking, talking commercial for the left wing, not even the Democratic Party. I mean, there used to be a right wing in the Democratic Party. You guys are too young to remember that, but, you know, the old blue dog Democrats, just working boys, and in the Midwest. That's why I think we're going to deliver Ohio, Pennsylvania. Those states are going to roll up to Trump. And then Florida, of course. And then you'll have a couple of outliers like New Hampshire. And I think he'll pull it off barely.
Who will? Who are you saying?
Sounds like Trump.
Trump will barely pull it out. But there's just too many disgruntled people to elect another Clinton or a Bush or... No, but, you know, Lord pray, I mean, don't say it, Obama or an Obama or a Bush. See, to me, Obama is just part of the power elite, just like the Bushes and the Clintons. People got to remember that, you know, he's a pretty rich man now and has been for a while, and his wife. So
it's just so interesting how people look at different things. A power elite. There's no doubt that you could make the argument, oh, it's clear. It's not an argument. It's a fact. Donald Trump's an outsider in terms of Washington, D.C. politics. But to say that he's not a power broker, and I think we all can acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump is considerably wealthier than President Obama. It's not even close. So it's funny what people choose to look at. I mean, come on, Brian. Donald Trump has way more money than President Obama. Not that that's a problem, but he is an outsider.
I can't remember the specific line, but Jerry Falwell Jr. said something to the effect that Trump was a blue-collar billionaire.
Yeah, whatever
and
that means.
It's an interesting sort of concept that perceptions and reality can often, you know, Franklin Roosevelt, if there was anyone who was an elite within the United States and yet was often able to portray himself as, you know, a friend of the common man in a way that Herbert Hoover was not. So
Yeah.
it's ironic. But.
I agree. All right, let's go to Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hey, how we doing today?
Good, Bob. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I'm still concerned about, you know, the, what I call, not revealing what the taxes are from Bush or Hillary. And the other thing was what I call the chaos in the room, you know, which is the Darwinism and stuff like that, not the angelic party.
Okay, we have a bad connection there, but I heard him talking about taxes to some degree, and also wondering, and we'll see what happens, what we hear from Hillary when she talks, but again, in the last convention with Donald Trump, he offered a lot of things, said he was going to do a lot of things, but he didn't say how. Now, in fairness, in a lot of these speeches, you can't go into a lot of detail, but a lot of promises,
right.
Okay? And some of them, frankly, you scratch your head and say, I don't know how he's going to pull that off, and I think we're going to hear the same thing with Hillary in the Democratic convention.
And
but
to be fair, you would have heard even more with Bernie Sanders. So.
Yes, exactly. But these promises that are made by these candidates, and without telling you how they're going to do it.
Well, I think Hillary on taxes has pretty much indicated that she plans to raise them, but largely for the upper class. You know, 2,000 or 250,000 a year or more. Trump's focus seems to be more on tax cuts, a little bit more Reagan-esque in terms of, you know, the way is to unleash regulations, and again, you know, Hillary I think is going to be much more, you know, Democrats tend to be more concerned about global warming, and so they're more likely to impose restrictions on coal and oil and these kind of things. But they're, you know, neither I think has been very, you know, neither is promising a major tax break, or tax raise, or
one way,
right.
That would be that'd be pretty much suicide,
you know,
wouldn't it?
Ever since Walter Mondale did that couple cycles back, people learn.
Stay away from it.
Yes.
Stay away from it. And listen, you mentioned global warming. As we go to a break, that just made me think of one prominent Democrat who will not be at the convention, and that's Al Gore. He made the announcement he won't be going. I think he said he had some type of commitment of some sort here in Tennessee, whatever that may be, or if there's other reasons perhaps why he's not going. But Al Gore won't be there.
You know, the most fun one was the last week, when they said they hadn't invited Sarah Palin because Alaska was too far away, and you wonder, well, is the Alaska delegation there?
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering about that.
It was good.
Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, if you're on hold, stay there. We've got one line open. Your thoughts on the race and all that's going on right now. We'll hear from you right after this.